Okay, mix up, Steve. Everybody happy? Got your mic on?
Yeah. Happy? Philip, this is a bit of a mess to say the least. We've had the statement through. Can you take us through your understanding of what happened on that night out and afterwards on Tuesday?
Well, I think it's in the statement, but on Tuesday we had, after the morning session, with just a normal training session, we had a team building activity planned. First idea was to go and play foot golf, but weather was really bad on Tuesday, so we changed the plan and we went on playing bowling. And after the bowling, there was a team dinner, and team sat together with each other for some bonding. Most of the players around 8 o'clock they left, and the small group stayed and continued at the bar. And due to an incident later, alcohol-related incident later, it caused us to lose our captain for the rest of the season. So in the end, it was bad news for our whole team.
Were you there? Were you aware that this group of players were staying on at the time?
No, we were not present at the time. Some senior players were at the time present, and they have to take their responsibility, behave in a professional way, if they know what they can do and cannot. So this was a very bad example and bad choice. They made a big mistake, and there will be consequences, of course. It's an ongoing, still, it's very fresh, so it's still an ongoing investigation about exactly what happened. But disciplinary matters and consequences there will be for the players involved, and one of these will be community trust service, to get more involved over a longer period of time with our community trust. But that's only one part of the disciplinary sanction. But we'll decide internally as a club what the next step will be.
Just so I'm clear on the timeline, when you and your staff left, was that around about this 8 o'clock time, and were you relying then on your senior?
No, there was only the afternoon activity was with the coaching technical staff. The dinner was only a small part of the staff present, who made sure there were cars available to go home, etc., and to take care of the food. So there was not all staff present, because I think it's also important for players to be able to bond with always a lot of staff members around. So we were not in the building.
The statement refers to a small group of players. We obviously know about 3 that were involved. How many more are in that group, and will you be telling us who they are?
No, that I cannot tell at the moment, but we know, of course, the names involved in the 3. They are out. But it was a very small group later at the bar, and like I said, we're still talking and trying to get the exact story, what happened.
Any other injuries as well as the captain?
No. Well, this is of course serious enough, and it shows how important it is to take responsibility and be aware what you are doing, because the consequences for him as a person, as a player, and also for our team can be huge. And so it's bad news and a bad situation for everybody in the club.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about him in a moment, but just so we're well, I respect there's a disciplinary procedure that the club will want to go through, but you do have a match coming up this weekend. So as part of that initial reaction, will players be suspended, unavailable? Are these players who aren't injured available this weekend?
It's very short notice to say today who's involved in the game or not. Probably tomorrow it would be more clear for all. But the injured players, of course, they will be not involved in the game. Of course, Richard Evans is injured, Anya is injured. They will not be part of the team. But yeah, we have more numbers to choose because a lot of players are coming back from injury. A few are playing with the under 23 game. So, in general, more players are available.
I guess my question is then, with Lawrence and Bennett, does it depend on how they are feeling? Does it depend on where the disciplinary process is up to in the club? What's the decision there?
It's all together, and in the end, it's my decision as a manager. But first, I need the time to get the stories right, to get the conversation with the players ongoing. Before I make a final decision. So the only injured players is Richard.
Yeah, it talks in the statement as well about players paying a heavy price, and we'll see what comes out of the disciplinary. But obviously, let's talk about Richard because he has paid a very, very heavy price for this. This feels like the kind of injury that could end a career at this point.
Well, that's just early stage to say it, but if we say he will be out the rest of the season, it's a very serious injury, yeah, of course. Yeah.
And have you spoken to him? Do you know how he's feeling?
I've spoken, yeah, he was in there for a short moment, and I've spoken briefly, because there's a lot going on at the moment, of course.
How is he? What's his reaction?
He's extremely down, of course, yeah, because he realizes, yeah, what's going on for him personally, and of course as a responsible player, as a captain in the team, that he's not part of the team anymore, and yeah, of course that does something with the player.
You talked earlier about, you left it to senior players to take responsibility. Does he feel that feeling that he should have been the person responsible for making sure nothing like this happened?
I think he feels responsible, yeah. Like I said, more senior players always have to step up and take responsibility, and now it's got a huge effect on him personally, and yeah, so there's a lot to deal with for him.
Does this indicate there's a problem at the club, running through the club with discipline? Do you think is this a sign of something bigger, or is this the one?
No, I see this absolutely as an incident. I didn't experience anything even getting close to this, so absolutely an incident, but a serious one, yeah.
Does it reflect on you at all? Do you feel?
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt particularly. You've asked several for a scene statement. I don't want to prolong this completely, and certainly talking about personal things like that. So if anyone's got any questions, particularly that haven't been covered already, one or two we would like to move on to Saturday's game. Thanks.
Philip, your captain is out for the season, so what does that mean? Who takes charge now? Who is your captain moving forward?
Our captain will be Tom Huddleston. Yeah, Tom was with Richard and Curtis, one of the captains, and so I've spoken with a few senior players and decided he will be our captain for the rest of the season because Richard is out.
Have you had to speak to the rest of the group about what's happened, and how worried are you that this could have a detrimental effect on the season as a whole?
Yeah, of course we speak with all players and individual players, small groups, because this incident has effect on the team. That's clear, and we have to deal with it short-term notice, because on Saturday is a very important game. But also, of course, progressing into the season, it's a big deal. We lose an important player in Richard, and we have to deal with it together. And we don't like to hide or run away from the responsibility we have to take and the decision we have to make. But we also have to play a game on Saturday, what's really important for us. And then we need to focus on that as well.
You've had quite the 2 months in charge, a disjointed pre-season, injuries. It's been a difficult start to the season. Now you have all of this. How are you dealing with it all? You must wake up sometimes and think, what on earth have I walked into here?
I think when I stepped in, we knew altogether the plan and the ideas, what we wanted to build and to achieve. And that was no surprise that we needed time to adjust, to fit in every new player, the ideas, the new staff. So that's maybe a lot of work together with aligning the whole academy and things apart from the first team. But that's the work I like, to work in a certain style and philosophy in a club, to implement it. So it only feels as positive energy. And at every club I've played, I worked, you face incidents of all kinds. It's only important, I think, how you deal with it. I always liked the fact, face it, take it like it is, don't make it smaller or bigger, and deal with it in the right way. And that's what we're trying to do now with the information, of course, what's available, and continue.
And just finally, on events of the last 2 days, you say you've spoken to Richard. Have you had to speak to Tom and Mason? And Tom in particular, we know he's not had the easiest of times over the last year or so, with life off the field. And we also know that perhaps his performances this season haven't been to the standard that he or the fans expect. So if you really had to look into his eyes and see how he is, see how he feels, realise that there's a court case pending.
I think he had really a hard and difficult time. So we cannot underestimate what he went through and still is going, because this is really hard for any person to deal with. I have to keep a close eye on him, because he's still a relative young guy. However, he's playing quite some years football with, on the age of 23. It's a lot to deal with. So it's definite something that we have to keep an eye on closely.
Can I just draw a line under this week, Philip? Just in terms of the fans, what would your message to them be in terms of what's happened this week and how they might react at the weekend?
Do you refer to the game of Leeds? How we ended?
We'll come back to that in a minute. I promise
Okay.
I'll ask you about that in a minute. But in terms of off the pitch things, fans are going to be disappointed. It's going to be a strange atmosphere, I would imagine, at the weekend.
Well, I'm convinced that our fans will be supporting the team and the club, because they are fans of the club, and individual mistakes have been made, and like we said and we communicate, there will be consequences, serious matters to deal with, and disciplinary actions will be taken. So that is something we can assure to our fans. that we cannot accept if players don't take the responsibility towards themselves, the team and the club. That has to be very clear. But the team who will be on Saturday, they have to try to win the game against Birmingham, and that's something we need the fans to support us to get the result and to go on playing the games and dealing with these difficult situations and circumstances. But I'm convinced the fans will support the players who are on the pitch. Yeah.
It would be the perfect time to get that first home win.
Yeah, that would be ideal, and that's why it's important for us to. Even it's of course difficult now with all what's going on, but still we have to focus because we need every % we can get to put in the game, because it will definitely be a difficult game against Birmingham. They are really a strong, very narrow defending, difficult team to play. So we need all focus on the game.
How much did you learn from your players last weekend against Leeds?
A lot that in the fact that they the things that the matters we discuss on, just an example on how can we deal with conceding a goal, a setback in the game. Can we do it together? How can we stay in the game? So in this game, I saw a change after we conceded in our team by a few senior players in the whole team, and by staying in the game, we got a late equalizer and the result. And so it shows the development and progress will work together, and the message we try to bring to the players they receive. We scored a great goal again. It's not just a lucky shot and a deflection. No, it's from the back, a build-up, a great goal. So it shows we have the qualities in the team to do it. So a boost for our confidence. And yeah, we now have to continue on the Saturday game. And that, for me, as a manager, is the most important. That we don't have too many ups and downs. We continue in the way we did against Cardiff and the last part against Leeds.
Thanks for the good luck.
Thank you.